The jury in the Stephen Lawrence trial has been shown pictures of the clothes Stephen was wearing on the night he was murdered. A blood-stained red polo top and a pair of green trousers were two of the items that were shown in court. Two men, Gary Dobson and David Norris, deny murdering Stephen at a bus stop in Eltham in 1993. Well, our correspondent Ronke Phillips is following every day of the case for us. She's here now. Ronke.
Thanks, Natasha. Well, not only were the jurors shown pictures of Stephen's clothing, we also heard extensively about how the forensic evidence was kept back in 1993 as day 4 of the trial got underway. Stained with his blood, the layers of clothing Stephen Lawrence was wearing on the night he was murdered in April 1993. Under his black bomber jacket, he wore a jumper, a red T-shirt and a white vest. These photographs were shown to the jury as DC Robert Crane, the officer in charge of exhibits during the original investigation, gave his evidence. Now retired, Mr. Crane told the Old Bailey jury that at the time DNA analysis was in its early stages and there was little detailed instruction to ensure evidence was collected in a scientific way. He said, "I think the relevance of it at the time was not that significant." Mr. Crane said they were forensically aware, but officers weren't given specific training. Under cross-examination, Gary Dobson's defence barrister, Timothy Roberts QC, asked Mr. Crane what were the anti-contamination procedures in 1993. Mr. Crane gave a one-word answer: gloves. Mr. Roberts then asked, were white protective suits ever worn? Mr. Crane replied, "We would wear our own clothes. White suits were not introduced until years later." Earlier, the jury was shown police surveillance photographs of the accused men, Gary Dobson and David Norris, outside a house in Eltham, and another of Norris outside Southwark Police Station. Graham Cook, then a detective constable who carried out house-to-house inquiries, told the jury Dobson was questioned at his parents' home on Phineas Pett Road, a short distance from the murder scene. When he asked Dobson where he was on the night of the attack, Dobson told him he'd been studying at home. Mr. Cook told the court Dobson appeared nervous. Gary Dobson and David Norris have allegedly been linked to the murder by new forensic techniques which have detected Stephen's DNA on items of their clothing. The suspects insist they weren't involved and blame contamination of the evidence. Stephen's parents, Doreen and Neville, left the hearing after the day's evidence. The trial resumes tomorrow.
And Ronke, in terms of forensic evidence, an awful lot has changed, hasn't it, over the last 18 years?
It certainly has. I mean, we were told that items were seized and bagged, but in those days they weren't always sealed. Those bags weren't always sealed. The jury was shown one of the big brown paper bags that would have been used as evidence, to bag evidence in those days. They had transparent windows, but as I say, they weren't always sealed because if items were wet or blood-stained, they worried that the bags could disintegrate. We were also told that officers would put different items into those bags using the same pair of gloves. So it's possible that fibres could have been transferred onto the outside of those bags. And exhibits were sometimes needed to be taken out to be photographed. And again, we were told that fibres and fragments could have been transferred from the officer to the outside of the bag or vice versa. So anyway, that was the end of day 4. We're back for day 5 tomorrow, Natasha.
Ronke, thank you very much.